News with Mitsumi Takahashi.
Good evening. They were digging today in a soccer field in Joliette. A family was watching nearby quietly. They're hoping to find the body of a baby girl who was buried, they believe, somewhere there more than 50 years ago. Here's Matt Grilla.
On the grounds of where their young family member could possibly be buried, the Echaquan family performs a ceremony. Laurana was just 2.5 months old in 1973 when her family was told she died from pneumonia at a Joliette hospital.
They told them that they could not bring Laurana home because it would be too expensive. You know, there was no option for them but to go bury her in the cemetery.
Laurana was buried in a cornfield. For decades, the family has been searching for answers. And last month, the exhumation process was authorized by a Quebec judge. Today is the first day of digging, and it is extremely difficult for Laurana's sister. When I came here, I started crying, she says. A team from Quebec's Forensic Science Lab is on site, and the work is supervised by a Quebec coroner. It's an emotional day for the Echaquan family. It's sad, very sad, says Laurana's uncle. He says the family mourns as it watches the digging nearby. We were neglected, he says. They took away our children like they were objects.
We're in a situation where a child and a family was not respected, it's wrong what happened, and I think it's a treatment that a lot of Indigenous people had at the time.
It's believed that Laurana's body was placed in a styrofoam box. 53 years later, the family hopes to find her and bring her home to Manawan, more than 3 hours north of Montreal.
It's such a burden that they are carrying for so many years, for all their lives. So maybe it will bring them justice, maybe not completely.
There are 4 locations that have been identified and will be searched, and those efforts are expected to last at least 3 weeks. Matt Grillo, CTV News, Joliette.
Quebec's electrical network is aging. Montreal, Laval has seen more than its share of power failures. Blackouts can lead to costly damages for people and for the businesses. And when that happens, it seems we're on our own. Stéphane Giroux has more.
Robert Mancini is still assessing damages at his restaurant following a series of power outages that damaged his equipment.
So we had to remove the grill. Here it's completely out, like there's no circulation, it's dead.
All the food that was stored in here went into the garbage.
And Saturdays I can lose gross sales anywhere between $5,000 to $7,000. The loss of food, everything that's prepared, the salaries that I had to pay because I still pay my salaries.
A repair crew told Mancini that a blown transformer triggered the last outage. But Hydro-Québec says it won't pay for the damages. Mancini now has to make an insurance claim.
I think it's ridiculous. I think because it's a monopoly.
If Hydro-Québec is able to get away with this, it's because the Quebec government adopted a law decades ago protecting the utilities company from lawsuits if there's a problem that causes damages to personal property or businesses. Hydro-Québec says consumers should install surge protectors to protect their appliances and equipment. A spokesperson from the utility told CTV News that it's currently updating its equipment in fast-growing sectors like Laval-des-Rapides.
So maintenance work has been planned and corrective actions are underway, primarily involving the replacement of several components such as insulators and conductors. Our vegetation management teams will continue the work also this summer in Laval-des-Rapides, including along 2 lines serving the area.
Saint Laurent confirms Hydro can't be held liable for damages caused by outages.
In cases where outages are caused by weather events or other unforeseen incidents affecting the grid, customers are encouraged to contact their insurance provider for any losses related to food spoilage or other damages.
A warning that in case of power failures, it's up to the customer to take precautions. Stéphane Giroux, CTV News.
The animal shelters are bracing for moving day, and while July 1st is still a few weeks away, the shelters say the pets are already being brought in. Olivia O'Malley reports.
So here we have Cocotte, which is an 11-year-old cat.
Future pet owners have their pick of the litter at the Montreal SPCA. There are cats, dogs, rabbits, rats, and even one turtle. It's high season, and the number of shelter admissions is rising.
The first few months of the year, we usually get about 20 animals per day. Right now, we're getting up to 40. We had 69 on Friday.
This happens around this time every year. The fast approaching moving day paired with the high cost of living means many families are having to make tough decisions, says SPCA head veterinarian Gabrielle Carrière.
We've always had families coming in crying because they don't mean to surrender their animals. And we hope the stigma or the shame around having to look for help goes away.
According to the SPCA, 52% of families live with at least one pet, yet 87% of housing units prohibit animals or have some restrictions. The Housing Tribunal's decision to allow pets in rental units is currently being appealed.
We're hoping that things change and that we no longer have laws that get in the way of families that are already struggling with different socioeconomic factors.
The cages at this shelter in Quebec City are already full. Adoption Lapin Sans Abri is managing 90 rabbits, including 30 recently rescued from one home.
This year, because of the sauvetage that we did with all the bunnies that we've taken in, plus you add on the 1st of July, plus you add on the aftermath of Easter, that's a dangerous mix.
Volunteer Ange Incra says they get messages from people every day seeing if they can take their rabbits, and they have to turn them away unless it's an emergency. Back at the SPCA, the shelter says it always tries to find solutions, but it's getting more complicated, with more animals potentially being brought here ahead of July 1st. Olivia O'Malley, CTV News.
There's a major social and affordable housing project planned for Delorimier, and it promises to create more than 200 new homes. The project is an investment of just over $81 million. Half the money will come from Quebec's affordable housing program. Interloge, that's a non-profit housing organization, is also involved. The new affordable housing units will be part of a larger residential complex that's planned for the area. Researchers in Montreal have developed a new digital platform. It aims to help seniors cope with anxiety and insomnia. The plan is that eventually it will be free for everyone to use. Here's Angela Mackenzie.
Anxiety and insomnia often go hand in hand in older adults, but accessing treatment isn't always easy. Researchers with the Montreal University Geriatric Institute say treatments often address only one of these concerns, so they've developed a digital platform designed specifically for seniors. The platform uses cognitive behavioral therapy and can be accessed from a phone, tablet, or computer. It's a 7-week program with half-hour-long interactive sessions that include videos and tools in both French and English. The study's lead researcher says the platform fills a gap because there are barriers to accessing this type of therapy.
The delay, it's about 3 to 6 months to get access to the cognitive behavioral therapy. Due to limited numbers of therapists, but also the price. Sometimes people cannot afford the price to get access to the therapy. And also in older adults, they may have some lower mobility, which could be maybe easier for them to directly have access to the therapy from home and not having to move in person to be physically there for the session with a psychologist.
The platform has gone through the clinical trial phase and is still being studied. The researchers say trial participants saw a significant improvement in sleep and a marked reduction in anxiety. Up next, they're hoping to get long-term funding to make this platform free of charge to the public in 2027. Angela Mackenzie, CTV News.
Former rescue officer Guy Lapointe is running as a candidate for the Parti québécois. He was introduced today as the PQ's new candidate for the riding of Verchères in the Montérégie. For years, he was the spokesman for the SQ, and before that, the BEI and the Montreal Fire Department. He's also the son of former Montreal Canadiens player Guy Lapointe.
Today for me, it's just a continuity of what I've felt all my life. I hope I can contribute. I believe I can. For the past 20 years, I've been observing, watching everything that's been done, public security. I have fresh ideas, I have suggestions, and it's really for me a proud moment. And I believe that we can do better, and I believe we will do better.
The Quebec general election is set for October the 5th. Canada has a new Governor General. Former Supreme Court Justice Louise Arbour was sworn in today with all the pomp and ceremony of the office. Here's Michael Couture.
Ushered into the Senate by an honor guard, Louise Arbour took her first steps into Canadian history as Canada's 31st Governor General. The former Supreme Court Justice will be tasked with being a symbol of unity and a guardian of constitutional order.
These duties call for sound judgment, deep learning, and an unwavering commitment to the rule of law.
Carney added those are the same principles on which Arbour built her long career.
It is through our differences that we will build a common future.
In a wide-ranging 20-minute speech, Canada's new Governor General celebrated the country's diversity and differences, saying that is how people will build a common future.
Extreme polarization is dangerous, but so is extreme consensus. It is through our differences and our fundamental right to express them that we will nourish critical thinking, creativity, and innovation.
A message that resonated with other dignitaries who attended the ceremony.
She stands for human rights, she stands for justice, she stands for equality, and she laid that all out.
While taking over from Canada's first Indigenous Governor General, Mary Simon, Arbour underlined the importance of reconciliation.
I'm looking forward to working with her in her new capacity, but I know that we are in good stead.
While her message was one of unity and a call to lead on the global stage, Arbour also injected a hint of patriotic humor.
We don't think we are perfect, but we believe we're pretty well on the way there.
Arbour also noted the progress made by the armed forces, without mentioning her damning 2022 report on sexual misconduct in the military. She'll now be the figurehead of the institution as the Commander-in-Chief of Canada. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
The weather forecasts are being issued for what summer will be like in southern Quebec. So what will the summer be like? Well, it depends. Here's Anastasia Dextrine.
Weather agencies have dropped their summer forecast for southern Quebec, and depending on who you ask, the season could look very different. According to Environment Canada, the normal daytime high for Montreal in June, July, and August is around 24 degrees, but meteorologist Simon Legault says warmer weather is on the way.
If we compare to past climatology for past decades, we should be above those numbers for the coming season. It doesn't say much about, is it going to be some short and strong heat wave or a general trend for the whole summer?
Legault says it could be a drier than usual summer, but concedes rainfall is harder to predict. It's a different tune altogether from forecasters like Météo Média, who are predicting a rainy and cool summer. And for Montrealers, it's confirmation of what they already knew, that the only thing that's certain about weather is its uncertainty.
I trusted enough to check it.
I don't plan my day based on the forecast.
Right about half the time.
Particularly like on weather apps and on TV, they talk about the rain and then it doesn't happen.
That's just always wrong. Environment Canada admits that weather patterns can change quickly. Legault says opposite forecasts can be explained by different weather agencies making calculations based on different models.
We know that those forecasts are not perfect and that we should be looking at the weather week by week when the week is starting, because we have a higher confidence when we are just a couple of days before the event.
He says the best practice is to think of the forecast as less of a prediction and more of a trend. Anastasia Dextrine, CTV News.
Coming up, the airlines are being offered some help.
This is an important step, an important signal from the federal government that they are watching.
But the idea of repayable loans does have its critics. And a major earthquake in the Philippines, and it is a rising death toll. The fighting between Iran and Israel has stopped for now, but the past 48 hours has seen a major escalation, and this despite Donald Trump calling for both sides to stop. Karen Travers has more from the White House.
After a flurry of strikes between Israel and Iran, the two sides say they're hitting pause. This after 2 phone calls in less than 24 hours between President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The president reportedly telling the prime minister to stop the attacks. Netanyahu says his country will hold off on striking Iran, quote, for now. Netanyahu warns Israel will respond forcefully if Iran attacks again, adding the struggle with Iran is not over yet. Iran also announcing earlier today it would stop striking Israel, while also threatening to carry out a more severe response if Israel continues striking southern Lebanon. All of this comes after a weekend during which Iran launched multiple waves of missiles into Israel, and the IDF struck targets in Iran, including a petrochemical plant. The Houthis, the Iranian-backed group in Yemen, also firing 2 ballistic missiles, according to an Israeli military source. And the Houthis threatening to go after Israeli-linked ships in another critical waterway in the Red Sea. Despite the strikes in the region, President Trump insists the U.S. and Iran are in the final stages of negotiations, and the two sides are, quote, very close to securing a deal. But the Strait of Hormuz remains closed, and it's not clear if the U.S. and Iran have worked out the complicated issue of Iran's highly enriched uranium.
There's still a lot of issues that have to be resolved, and first and foremost is control of the Strait of Hormuz and unlocking the blockade on both sides.
The U.S. still has in place its blockade of Iranian ports. CENTCOM announced today that U.S. forces had disabled an oil tanker that was attempting to sail to one of those ports. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
And ceasefire or not, oil and gas prices remain high. Today, Ottawa announced a program to help the airlines. Annie Bergeron-Oliver reports.
Ahead of a busy travel season, the federal government is offering airlines a boost to help offset the impact of turbulent oil prices.
This is an important step, an important signal from the federal government that they are watching this situation closely and that they're willing to put some money on the table to prevent difficulties from taking place in the Canadian airline industry.
Experts say domestic ticket prices in Canada have gone up at least 15% since the war in Iran began. In late April, U.S. Gulf Coast jet fuel hit $4.34 USD a gallon. Now it's fallen to around $3.50 a gallon, still well above the pre-war price, where it hovered around $2.
It will take some time for things to go back to normal. Even if the Strait of Hormuz reopens this month, it's going to take time for ships to travel back to it and then the oil from the Middle East to hit global markets.
The Finance Department says that's why they're offering airlines up to $150 million in repayable loans to provide stability and to ensure continued reliable flight access for Canadian air travelers.
The marketplace will drive airline behavior. This strategy of $150 million with strings attached is not going to be enough to drive the airline behavior.
The Conservatives, though, doubt this plan that, similar to what Ottawa offered airlines during the pandemic, will help passengers.
The consumer is never the one that gets the benefit from any of these government bailouts. They are not fixing the crux of the problem.
Airlines who choose to apply for these loans will have to agree to limit executive compensation and to maintain Canadian operations. But the exact details, according to finance officials, will be up for negotiation. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
A man's facing charges after he tried to sneak onto a United Airlines flight from Houston to L.A. He was found hiding in the plane's bathroom as it was pulling away from the gate. Police say he used what appeared to be a fake boarding pass and managed to slip through the gate while the employees were distracted. Ontario Premier Doug Ford is in Washington for meetings with top American politicians and business leaders. On social media, Ford posted about his meeting today with Canada's ambassador to the U.S., Mark Wiseman. He said they would be working together to make the case for tariff-free trade in North America. Ford is in Washington for 2 days of meetings. And Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre was in Calgary today. He was calling for policy changes to counter a growing separatist sentiment in Alberta. Kathy Lee reports.
Pierre Poilievre used his speech today at the Legion in Calgary to launch what he says will be a campaign to keep Alberta in Canada. Here's a little bit of what he had to say.
Those who are choosing separation from Canada are not our enemies. Demonizing people who have lost hope in Canada is no way to restore it. Name-calling, fear-mongering, and ostracizing will only worsen and broaden the divide.
Poilievre made the case against separation, but also acknowledged the frustrations driving some Albertans toward it. His message was that Alberta doesn't need to leave Canada. It needs different policies coming out of Ottawa and changes on issues like pipelines, resource development, taxes, and provincial autonomy. He repeatedly urged Albertans to lock arms with other parts of the country rather than pull away from them.
I really enjoyed his speech. He was able to bring a lot of people together and address the separation without looking down on anybody.
I would want separation, yes.
So did this convince you at all?
No, not at all, because I don't think it's fixable by the Liberals.
Oh, it's very good. He talked about a united, strong Canada and Alberta within a united, strong Canada.
On October 19th, Albertans will either vote to remain in Canada or start the legal process towards a future binding referendum on separation. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Calgary.
In Armenia, Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan is claiming victory in an election that was seen as a test of Russia's influence on that country.
Priorities, of course, first of all connected with regional peace and stability.
Preliminary results show that Pashinyan and his governing Civil Contract Party won roughly half the vote. They're looking to distance Armenia from Moscow and deepen cooperation with the West. His main opponent was a billionaire who made his fortune in Russia, who is currently under house arrest. He's accused of advocating to overthrow the government. A massive search and rescue operation is underway in the southern Philippines. A major earthquake struck with a magnitude of 7.8. The death toll now stands at 35, with more than 200 people injured. The city of General Santos was hardest hit. Since the quake yesterday, there's been more than 200 more aftershocks, the most powerful of them, a magnitude 6.7. And coming up, there is a cemetery that is putting on a show.
We have a jewel in Montreal.
There will be a multimedia light and music show in Montreal's Notre-Dame-des-Neiges. And would you upload your personal banking information to a chatbot? What could possibly go wrong? There's a new service on offer from ChatGPT. Select users will be able to connect their bank accounts to the chatbot and will be able to ask it questions about taxes or personal financial planning. So, we're being asked to upload all our personal financial and banking information to a chatbot. Carmi Levy is our tech analyst. Hi, Carmi.
Hi, Mitsumi. Great to be with you.
So, Carmi, what exactly is this new service? I mean, what does it promise to do for us?
They're calling it a personal finance feature. It'll be included if you subscribe to ChatGPT Pro, initially in the US, but eventually everywhere. It'll be included. Basically what you do is you connect your account on ChatGPT to your financial institution. So you connect your ChatGPT account to your bank account, and then it creates a dashboard of your finances. So it'll show you your recent activity, it'll make recommendations, it'll look for patterns, it'll provide guidance to you. You can ask it questions if you're making a major life decision. You know, you're saving up to buy a car, maybe you want to buy a house, you want to increase your savings, retirement planning, things like that. It'll use its knowledge of your finances to give you more focused responses, which sounds really good, but what you have to give them in order to get that information is really kind of concerning.
Yeah, and they're trying to offer assurances, right? They're saying that, you know, that this practice will be safe and secure. Do you think their assurances are good enough?
Oh, no. I mean, OpenAI has never been a company that I would trust. I certainly wouldn't recommend anyone else would trust them. They say, yeah, securely connected. They won't be able to see full account numbers or make changes to your accounts, but it'll still have access to your balance, your investments, your liabilities. All that critical financial information in the wrong hands can be used against you. And we know full well that OpenAI uses your information in any form to train its AI models, which opens up a whole other level of risk. Not really something that I would trust this company with. Definitely not my finances, because it can really get you into trouble.
Yeah, because that was going to be my next question. I mean, OpenAI is telling us that our information will be used only to train its AI models. But you think that they're going to use it for a lot more than that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, we all think, oh, it'll be anonymized, it'll be aggregated, the personal identifiers will be pulled out of it. But we know full well that that is not an assurance, and we know that OpenAI has in the past made promises about privacy and about security and data integrity, and then it is backed off of them afterward, because let's face it, this is a company that is in hyper growth mode. They're about to go public, and really all they care about is profitability. Your data is worth something to them. If it means that they can improve their bottom line, they absolutely will. And this isn't a company that has a really good track record about living up to promises of data privacy. And I have particular worries when that data is financial in nature.
Yeah, because they're not known for being a charity either, right, Carmi? I mean, you know, they're asking us for all our personal and banking information. And OpenAI aside, I mean, uploading that kind of thing onto the net, it carries substantial risks, doesn't it?
It certainly does, because anytime we share private information with any organization on any website or app or service, we're trusting that that company will do everything in its power to keep that information safe. And let's face it, there are headlines every day of the latest breach. And so OpenAI has been victimized in the past. It will likely be victimized again in the future. So you're giving them your most sensitive information, and then you're crossing your fingers that, oh, they'll keep it safe this time. History suggests otherwise, and that's certainly something I worry about. That this is an AI company is another level of risk, because that information, even if they haven't been breached, there are what are called prompt injection attacks that malevolent actors, cyber criminals, can use to uncover or access this information and use it against you in other forms of attack. So there are all sorts of levels of risk here, and it's a major red flag for anyone who might be considering doing this.
But, you know, despite all your warnings, you know, it's going to come up on our screens, and it's going to say, we're going to give you a dashboard, all this really personalized financial advice. People are going to go for it. So your counsel, should anybody consider doing this?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly looks tempting, right? It looks really cool. Who wouldn't want a dashboard of advice? And let's face it, we could all use better answers to our financial questions. And, you know, chatbots answer all sorts of questions for us. Why not? But there's a big difference between asking generalized questions and educating ourselves with a chatbot, which is okay, and sharing the keys to the kingdom with them before we kind of really dig into it. So if you want to use ChatGPT for general financial education, go for it. Just don't be connecting it to your personal accounts. Don't be uploading your personal information as well. Draw a line when it comes to privacy, and you can get what you want out of it, but still not expose yourself unnecessarily.
Very good advice. Thank you very much for this, Carmi.
Thanks, Mitsumi.
Weather brought to you by Gratian Scaff's 50th anniversary gift event. Get a complete second pair and sunglasses as a gift.
Well, the weather for the second week of June is so far off to a good start. It's about to get a lot hotter, with humidex values feeling close to 40 on a couple of days. Those details in a moment. Today, we did see a lot of sunshine, and it was warmer than seasonal, with the humidity as a mild factor. Today's daytime high was 26. Feeling like 28, and typically this time of year we'd be around 22. So certainly warmer than we would normally expect. But tomorrow it's going to feel even warmer. Now, putting our futurecast into motion, this is what we can look forward to overnight. Clear skies at this time, and we're going to hold on to that into the early morning hours. We start tomorrow off with mostly sunny skies, and that's pretty much what we'll be seeing throughout the day. We could see periods with a little bit of clouds moving in, but we will still be seeing sunshine predominate our forecast for Tuesday. So that's the good news. So far, no rain in the forecast for tomorrow. We hold on to that sunshine for most of the the day. And then into the evening, we do start to see some clouds move in, and that is ahead of a system that's expecting to impact Montreal. It looks like pretty early on in the day, sometime before you head into work. Now overnight we are also seeing warmer than seasonal temperatures in terms of our low, 14 degrees tonight, and typically we'd be around 11. We start the day off tomorrow at 17 degrees and we're going to hit a daytime high of 28, but that humidity is going to make it feel like 33. Now here's that longer range forecast that I was hinting at off the top. We can see that on Wednesday we're expecting around 15 millimeters of rain throughout the day. 27 will be the high there, but it'll feel like 33. On Thursday we're calling for mostly cloudy skies. That 28 degrees is going to feel like 37. And on Friday that 31 will feel like 39. We finally start to see the temperatures get closer to seasonal come Sunday, 22 degrees there. It'll feel like 30 though, and next week on Monday we're looking at 21 degrees with a mix of sun and clouds.
There is a light and sound show planned for Notre-Dame-des-Neiges Cemetery. At first, the idea was controversial, but no longer. Here's Geneviève Beauchemin.
A cemetery may seem an unlikely stage for a show, but among gravestones at Montreal's Notre-Dame-des-Neiges lie historical treasures. It's the burial site of hockey great Maurice Richard, of legendary mayor Jean Drapeau, of poet Émile Nelligan.
We have a jewel in Montreal.
To shine a spotlight on that legacy.
Using also the fountain.
The cemetery will be the scene of a multimedia experience. It's an immersive 2-kilometer walk with lighting, music, video by famed entertainment studio Moment Factory based in Montreal. Creators say the project will respect the sacred grounds and incorporate the voices of family members naming their loved ones.
The experience will follow the mission of the cemetery, which is to remember the people.
The well-known and the million others buried at the tree-filled garden cemetery the size of nearly 200 football fields. In fact, the cemetery is so vast, just about every Montrealer has a connection to this site. Right here are the Beauchemins, my grandparents, both buried. Some of the family members had questions about how the project would ensure their loved ones' gravesites would be respected.
We took the time to explain to the family what will be the use of the cemetery, that we will stay on the actual paths, that we will not walk on the monuments.
The association representing families told CTV News it supports the project if well executed. The cemetery's recent history was plagued with a strike in 2023 that halted operations and burials, and an ice storm that damaged thousands of trees. Maintenance costs have risen over the years, and ticket sales may help cover some expenses.
Our main focus remains to take care of the cemetery, and the nighttime tribute walk is a complementary activity that will help us continue ensuring that we do this properly.
The cemetery hopes the year-round experience will bring more visitors to honor the past, to pay tribute to those who rest here. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
The centre block of the Parliament building is undergoing a massive restoration project. Natalie Van Roy gives us a tour.
A look at the massive hole being dug on Parliament Hill, usually hidden away from the public as major construction continues on the centre block and a new Parliament Welcome Centre.
Certainly the largest and most complex heritage rehabilitation of its kind in Canada, and actually maybe even in the world.
The project kicked off in 2018 and is currently scheduled to be completed in a few years, with a price tag ranging between $4.5 to $5 billion.
I have a theatre.
On Sunday, the public getting a peek behind the curtain as the project is usually blocked by steel scaffolding.
I actually traveled here from Toronto to see Doors Open Ottawa. I've seen it in non-construction times. The first time seeing it actually, what it looks like with the construction on.
It's a complex site with a focus on restoration, modernization, and maintaining tradition, piquing people's interest.
The history, the architectural decisions, how they're modernizing it for, the new century. Compared to when it was built.
Parliament's restoration reaches up to 2 stories underground. Experts on site to describe the methods used during the work.
The most fascinating was also seeing how they're using some of the old technologies for this. So we saw the tools that they're carving with.
Work continues every day.
Between 800 and 900 workers on site every day. So construction is going as anticipated, with many challenges here and there because it is a complex task.
And those getting a peek, taking pictures and making memories. Natalie Van Roy, CTV News.
And coming up, when home is no longer safe.
We've been very reluctant to even shower in the water.
And they filed a $2 million lawsuit against Prince Edward Island. And where did all these caterpillars come from? They're everywhere across Alberta.
Your Health, brought to you by Gratian Scaff's 50th anniversary gift event. Get a complete second pair and sunglasses as a gift.
Forever chemicals are chemicals that don't break down in the environment or in the human body. One couple is suing after finding a dangerous level of them in their well water. Maria Saru has more.
A stack of documents now sits at the center of Doug and Robin Jenkins' living room. Research papers and test results into something they can't see, smell, or taste, but has changed how they live in their own home.
We've been very reluctant to even shower in the water.
Last year, provincial testing found PFAS, often called forever chemicals, in their private well water. The results were 20 times what Health Canada recommends for drinking. The PEI government has been supplying them with water jugs, but the Jenkins are suing the province, seeking roughly $2 million plus property damages.
This is a last and desperate resort to make the government accountable.
Though it's not clear what's causing the problem, they allege the contamination is coming from a former construction and demolition waste site nearby. The site operated behind this gate for several years before it was shut down after an inspection found it wasn't meeting provincial regulations. CTV News asked the province about the lawsuit, but didn't receive responses to our questions. For the Jenkins, the fear isn't only what's in the water, but what's in their bodies. Blood work showed their PFAS levels were well above what U.S. clinical guidance links to higher health risks.
It's just a sad event. It's just life-changing. It's a ticking time bomb within us all.
Most people have some forever chemicals in their blood, but toxicologists say the goal is to reduce exposure.
Health Canada tells us that PFAS can affect multiple organs, including the liver and the kidneys, but also multiple systems.
This farm has stayed in the family for more than 4 generations. The Jenkins hope to pass it on to their daughters, but now it comes with contamination and a fight they never wanted. Maria Saru, CTV News, Hazelbrook, Prince Edward Island.
In parts of Alberta, there are caterpillars everywhere. They're across the sidewalks, they're hanging off the trees, feasting on the leaves. Here's Kathy Lee.
We covered an area about...
Just days before, a cluster of these forest tent caterpillars appeared on Helen Shields' tree. She was in the backyard of her home in Airdrie with her husband when she noticed a large black mass on the bark.
I got up, I saw some things moving, and I thought, no, this isn't good.
Immediately, they sprayed the group down with insecticidal soap.
They just cover the trees, inhale all of the leaves.
And Shields isn't alone. The caterpillars have exploded in communities across the province. In Drayton Valley, the insects blanket the ground and buildings. In Red Deer, they cling to trees. The infestation prompting multiple municipalities to issue public notices, including the town of Olds, where they've made themselves at home in this neighborhood. This entomologist with the Olds College of Agriculture and Technology says the boom happens every decade.
The females will lay 100 to 300 eggs. Numbers were up last year, and so when the population builds, it sort of explodes.
Last year's provincial report revealed tent caterpillars stripped the leaves of almost 2/3 of Alberta's northern forests, contributing to a significant outbreak this year.
It's not entirely certain what causes them, but they seem to have this cycling effect.
While they can look intimidating in large clusters, they play an important role in the ecosystem. This arborist says they pose little risk to people, and for healthy trees, the damage is usually temporary.
It won't kill a tree, and the trees will bounce back the next year if they completely lose their leaves in the 1 year.
Despite that, many people like Shields would rather keep the leaves on her trees. Now she's being extra diligent in case more caterpillars come.
We just keep an eye on it.
Experts say this outbreak isn't likely to disappear overnight. Depending on moisture levels and temperatures, tent caterpillar populations can persist for 1 to 3 years or even longer. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Olds, Alberta.
Business News, brought to you by Oview Duluth, supporting families of sick children throughout the month of June.
For the second time in a decade, Ottawa is offering financial support to Canadian Airlines. Marilla Fernandez has more.
The last time airlines got help was when they essentially shut down during COVID. Now they face spiking fuel prices, which is why Ottawa is offering aid. Each carrier will be able to borrow $150 million. The higher fuel prices have forced airlines to drop some routes and raise fees. Now, there are some guidelines. The airlines would have to agree to restrict dividend and executive compensation, as well as keep Canadian employees on the job. Here are the closing numbers for the day. Canadian dollars up to 71.67. West Texas Intermediate is up to 91.30. Western Canadian Select is down to 74.82. And the TSX gained 65 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
The NBA Finals have returned to New York City for the first time since 1999. Donald Trump is expected to attend the game at Madison Square Garden tonight, and security is extremely tight. Rena Roy reports.
For the first time in nearly 3 decades, the New York Knicks are in the NBA Finals, and New York City is on fire.
The city's ready to explode. Knicks in 4.
Watching the Knicks finally make it to the finals is like a dream come true.
New Yorkers celebrating in the streets outside Madison Square Garden for weeks, with the Knicks winning 13 straight playoff games, the second longest single postseason win streak in NBA history. They're now just 2 wins away from their first NBA championship in 53 years. And tonight, the Knickerbockers have home court advantage at the world's most famous arena as they go head-to-head with the San Antonio Spurs in Game 3. But city officials have canceled the watch party outside the Garden because President Trump is expected to attend the game.
So the message is simple: celebrate the Knicks, but avoid the MSG area tonight.
The NYPD says there is no specific threat, but police are taking no chances, cracking down on security with street closures in the area and checkpoints with enhanced screening, plus anti-scaling fencing, traffic barriers, and crowd control measures. The mayor has now announced an official free watch party just blocks away at Bryant Park.
Even though we can't attend in the arena, but the energy, the vibe, the way the city's growing up together on the road, it's unbelievable.
And 5,000 fans are expected here at Bryant Park alone. The Spurs, of course, looking to win their first game in this series, while Knick fans are hoping to get 1 win closer to their first title in more than 50 years. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Brendan Gallagher was the guest of honor last night at the Sports Celebrity Dinner. And for one last time as a Hab, he got a goal call from the Hall of Fame broadcaster, Pierre Houde.
La rondelle qui revient au territoire du Canadien. Gallagher s'empare du disque derrière son filet. Oh, Gallagher a une percée, le voilà au centre, à la ligne bleue de l'adversaire, devant le filet, le tir et
The event raised $1 million for the Cummings Center Foundation. Gallagher was joined by his former coach, Michel Therrien, as well as broadcaster Pierre Houde and former Expo Denis Boucher. Last week, Gallagher announced he will be leaving the Canadiens this summer. There are reports of a major computer and IT outage going on right now. So, Matt, what can you tell us about this?
Well, Mitsumi, the outage is affecting a number of healthcare services in both Laval and the Laurentians. Both regional authorities are warning about major disruptions. In Laval, the big one is the Cité de la Santé hospital. There's a major computer failure there, and officials are warning the public not to go to the emergency room unless you need immediate intervention. There are also several rehab centers, CLSCs, and residences where the phones aren't working in Laval. This is a developing story, and we'll have full details tonight, Mitsumi, at 11:30.
Okay, thank you very much, Matt.
Stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you right here tonight on CTV.
For breaking news and local news that matters to you, download the CTV News app right now by scanning the QR code on your screen using your smartphone. Or you can also go to our website, ctvnewsmontreal.ca.
Finally tonight, a spectacular display. It was captured by a camera from space. Look at this. Astronauts on board a SpaceX capsule took these images of an Aurora, the beautiful show of lights dancing directly below their spacecraft. This is a time lapse. It is of the Aurora Australis. It's in the southern hemisphere, and it is the elusive twin of the northern lights that we see here. It's pretty spectacular, isn't it? Pretty
definitely.
amazing. Okay, so it's going to get warmer as the days go by.
Yes, that's right. We have a few days where our humidex values are going to feel close to 40. Tonight, it is a little bit on the warmer side, but certainly not as warm as we're going to see for our overnight lows in the coming days. So tonight we will go down to 14 degrees. We typically be around 11 overnight. We start the day off at 17 with lots of sunshine. We hold on to that throughout the day, hitting a daytime high of 28, feeling like 33. Now I just want to quickly demonstrate, because the numbers don't lie. We look at our overnight low, for example, on Wednesday or Thursday, 21. Typically our daytime high should be 22. So that points to how warm it's going to be. So have your water handy, a hat, and stay in the shade if possible.
And that's it for us. Have a good evening. Stay well. Good night.